Please, actually one of the biggest underdog Night Elves from Russia for a very long time, coming behind the likes of Neutron, aka Nightelf, and of course, well, Foggy is from Ukraine, but he's plays a lot in that region. But yeah, Please is a very good Night Elf. He's from the old guard as well. Before 2010, he was doing a lot of games, a lot of practice. He has a lot of experience with Druids of the Talon. So it's not only the modern styles of Mass Huntresses and Keeper of the Grove that we're seeing from him recently.
Yeah, definitely true. And, you know, that is really the big question mark. You know, you of course know Please very well, Grubby. I think you told me that you used to practice with him as well. So he's been in the scene for a long time. But like you said, he's not as well known, not one of the big names from Russia especially, which is such a powerhouse country really in Warcraft 3 with names such as Happy, Napo, Hawk, you know, and all these other titans.
Yeah, exactly. Cash, who we've also had in the Fight Night. We're almost going on our 20th Fight Night now, and the first one in Reforged. But indeed, Russia, Germany, Sweden, these are kind of the three most powerful countries in Europe when it comes to Warcraft 3. And Russia has produced so many stars. Please is part of a stellar cast of players and has not been able to shine, probably because the competition is as strong in his country. If he had come from another country in Europe, he'd probably be one of the best players from that country, if not the best. Let's see what he can do tonight, though. Hitman is in a phenomenal shape, Kendric.
Absolutely, and Hitman looks strong. He's confident as always, and since we didn't get the chance to really have an interview with him, we decided to, you know, get a little bit of a snippet compilation and show some of his strongest moments so you guys can watch that alongside us for the first time here on Fight Night. So enjoy, lean back while we create the lobby for you guys, and when we're back, we're going to dive into the first game on Equiles as quickly as possible.
Yep, we have the lobby started. We've completed all of our tests and everything is working just fine. Going to be having our first show match momentarily. Now, it is a best of 5, which means the first player to win 3 maps will be the victor of the show match. The winner gets not just $200, but also the chance to play in the next Fight Night, in addition to getting a small part of the bounty, which is being supplemented with a bounty from the past, and any future cheers and bits that you might be adding to this channel will be distributed among the players as well.
Yeah, you can see the exact system, the explanation of the system on your screens right now. 30% go to the champ, 30% to the challenger. So the players are the lion's shareholders, you know, really. And it's a really cool system, and it really encourages, hopefully, some of you guys to invest into the Warcraft 3 scene and support your favorite players, support the people that run the show. We always appreciate that very, very much. Now, guys, before we get into the game, a quick 2-minute video about Hitman and one of his, or some of his strongest moments. And when we're back after this video, we're going to dive into the game. So stay tuned and talk to you in a bit.
I think I'm in the best shape I've ever been right now. I definitely think it's going to be a pretty one-sided matchup in my favor. I just think I'm way too good against Undead.
As the Pit Lord gets coiled just in time, he's got cleave damage on the Pit Lord if he uses it. A lot of walking around here by the Pit Lord. And there goes another Kodo. TC's still dead. He wants to make use of that opportunity.
Ooh, huge Nova into a big chunk of Orc units in the back there as well. This could be the moment for Terran to advance and claim potentially his first game in this series. The Kodos are either low or killed already, and these are once again massive boons of the Orc army. But now, Blade Master trying to retaliate onto the cursed Banshees, gets one after the other. The Grunts in the backline too, but once again, units are falling for the Orc player. The Undead heroes are reigning supreme, and most importantly, the statues are still continuing to healing. But now counter kill, counter focus fire by Hitman. Gets 1, gets 2. You don't enter my base without getting punished heavily, my friend. And he turns it around with fewer units, but stronger focus. Once again, I think I don't even have to ask you, Hitman, right? Your prediction for this victory, of course, on your side. Any specifics?
Swift 3-0. Very swift. He might not even kill a unit in one of those games.
Well, that could be the beginning of the end of this team fight. However, it is still enough healing there. The statues in the back have been well protected this time. One Banshee is falling, though. The healing waves are trickling in one after the other. 2 heroes in trouble right now, in jeopardy. He can only save one. He decides to go for the Lich, and the Pit Lord says goodbye, bites the ground, and the Orc player, Hitman, he's on a war stump quite literally right now. Gets another one, and a Hex as a combo wombo, and Terra says goodbye, GG. Hitman decides game number 1 in his favor.
Happy is not on my level.
Okay, that's true for a lot of people, but which way do you know? Which way do you mean it? Just to be clear.
I'm on my own level, that's all I'm gonna say.
So Hitman says he is on his own level, not afraid of anyone, throwing challenges out to Happy and Thorazane and who knows what. But first, of course, he has to overcome Please. And that is by no means an easy opponent, like you said. Definitely not easy, Grubby. What do you know anything in particular about Please? Like anything that maybe differentiates him from other Nightelf players out there?
I think I've practiced hundreds of games more than 10 years ago with him, and it was always Druids of the Talon. He wasn't a player to deviate. He wasn't a player to deviate much from what at the time was perceived to be and known to be the best style. So I think we're going to see a very methodical style from him. It is true, though, that these days there are more options for Nightelf. There is not a fully settled on agreement yet what is the best. We've got the Keeper Mass Huntresses style, and we've got the Demon Anti-Archers with Talents. I think we might just see Talents, though, because Hitman is very powerful against Keeper and Mass Huntresses.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the Talents, because I'm almost not brave enough to mention this strategy these days, because it's almost like a gentleman's agreement to never reintroduce this strategy in the Orc versus Nightelf these days, because it feels like people have seen enough of these little buggers, of these little talents. But it is still an option. Some players still play it very successfully in this matchup. And really the go-to style, the style that is being utilized by most Nightelfs, we've seen it actually a couple of days ago by Foggy being used very successfully in the Back to Warcraft Invitational. That is Keeper, Mass Tier 1. You see a lot of Archers, a lot of Huntresses, and you just overwhelm your opponent, the Orc opponent in that case, with an expansion and just strong pressure play the entire time.
Yeah, and I'm glad you pointed it out, Kendrick, because I think we might be seeing something just like that. Notwithstanding what Please has been playing over a decade ago. I mean, we were all doing something different 10 years ago, weren't we? But these days, he's been doing a lot of heavy Keeper, Naga, Sea Witch, Mass Archer attacks. And then into whatever. It could be Talents, it could be Dryads, but just really trying to make sure that you marshal a large initial force, attack someone with it, and really disable their ability to creep, to be on the map, and to get some nice experience points. If you're lucky, maybe you completely finish them off. And we're going to see that Keeper here. We have the second Moonwell coming, and that always means more Archers. If you see one Moonwell into Hunter's Hall, then you know it's going to be that heavy Tier 1 economical style. But this is going to be aggression. We're going to see a lot of Archers most likely.
Are under attack.
Yeah, in the meantime, we see the Blade Master, Hitman's favorite, of course, sneaking over. He's so good when it comes to controlling the Blade Master, stealing experience, stealing items, pressuring units early on, and we already see him pressure this Archer. Nice Entangle, though. Didn't go for trains early on for exactly that reason, to keep that Blade Master in control and to have a little bit of extra dominance in the early creeping phase here.
Yeah, and of course, Entangle level 1 first has the option to pressure the peons of an Orc player who's teching fast, but Hitman, he's not really investing too heavily into some kind of early creeping. He's not going to make himself weak. He's going to use this Blade Master to keep tabs on where the Nightelf is. And in the meantime, he's doing an ultra fast tech. He just got a single Voodoo Lounge, picked up some items in order to be able to sustain his way here. Here, think of it as an apple when you go for a trek and you want to sustain your lunch so that you can stay out for longer. That's what he took with him, and he's gone with a very late barracks, mostly just supplementary in the case that he needs to defend. In the meantime, we do have that Hunter's Hall coming out, so despite that second Moonwell, it is after all Huntresses that are going to be coming out, but with a tech. So it's kind of straddling the line between the two options that we've discussed so far. Teching, yes, Huntresses, yes, but not Mass Huntresses yet.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, I think, Please, not only should he know by now, not seeing a single grunt, so he should know that there's something fishy going on, but he also sent a Wisp, so he saw exactly what's going on in the main base of Hitman, seeing that slightly different build order. He knows exactly what's coming, and let's see what his response to this delayed grunt-producing production is. First Huntress now being built, and so far Hitman's Blade Master is just following the Keeper around, trying to be the thorn in his side, hurting him whenever possible, and of course, we don't really see any greedy tech because as long as the Keeper stays level 1, that's good for the Orc player, isn't it, Grubby?
Exactly. You've got the entangle to maybe lock down some grunts, but without Force of Nature, the treants, you generally don't have enough damage until you get something like 2 to 3 Huntresses to really lay the punishment on grunts with that entangle. Furthermore, the stats of the Keeper are so low when he's not leveled up, so that's really something that Hitman would be very happy with, Kendric. Following that Keeper may seem like a kind of binary, mono-dimensional strategy, but it really is the appropriate thing to do here. Finally, though, level 2 is reached for Please.
Yeah, level 2 is here. That means, of course, Treant reinforcements will be deployed relatively soon. Nice Shadow Melt here on the Archer, also serving as a little bit of a body block, squeezing in the Blade Master and forcing him to Windwalk. Owl immediately put by the Huntress, and that is a TP forced unless he maybe gets out of range in time. That was super close.
Now, of course, Blade Master doesn't have TP.
Oh, it doesn't have TP anymore. That's right, sold it.
He was on the precipice. At this point, it would have been imaginable that the Huntress would throw another Sentinel on the left side, Keeper stutter stepping, which means attacking while moving in a certain direction, all the way to the left, maybe with the second entangle. But of course, it was still on cooldown, and maybe he figured it's not worth the risk that he doesn't get it. So he's just gonna continue creeping. Blade Master will lick his wounds with a healing salve. In the meantime, tier 2 has been reached. His Tree of Ages has completed, which means he could hire a second hero, please. He's also getting 1 attack upgrade for Huntresses, which proves he's not looking to transition here, Kendrick, to Dryads or Talons. These basic units, they're going to be the play. And please throws down an expansion. The low early army size for Hitman has given him the idea that this is an opportunity he can make use of.
Look at how many balls Hitman is juggling right now. You know, he's doing so many things at the same time. He's trying to go for the Ogre Magi with his Blade Master.
He has the Windwalk.
Oh, he can't get it.
He can't finish this.
No.
He can't finish this. And there's a Sentinel as well. Entangle!
Oh! That's the entanglement. That should be the kill by the Alchemist there as well. The Poison Ivy strikes again. So this is the worst outcome for Hitman imaginable. He didn't get the item. He Windwalked too late. And the Keeper sniffed it out and says, mate, out of my lawn. This is my house.
Yeah, throwing the Acid Bomb on the Blade Master to reduce his armor and make his day a bad one. You were mentioning it, Kendrick. He was juggling a lot of different balls at the same time.
Yeah.
And Healing Salve, it did not bring Blade Master to 100%. Hitman greeded out with a low item count, figuring he can probably get that Ogre Mage. But here's the thing, you only can if you're full life with 1 or 2 items. He had 1 item, just under full, and didn't get it. And you know what? The old Blade Master would have got it. You Windwalk, and you double Windwalk again, you get a single hit and you go invisible.
Yeah.
But with the new 2-second cooldown on Windwalk, that is no longer possible. Entangle, Acid Bomb on the Shadowhunter, Purge to remove the Entangle immediately. The Shadowhunter's trying to run away. He's down to 100 life. Next Entangle is available. Where's the Purge?
That was a wicked one. That was another painful sting into the cheek of Hitman. You know, it's getting a little bit swollen right now. He's losing too many heroes. These heroes, the Blade Master in particular, still level 1, has not really the means to fight back these Night Elven units. The Shamans, like you said, Grubby, low on mana too, didn't really have the purchase ready, and now, of course, he's with his back against the wall. So much Night Elf pressure in his base already, and behind all that, you know, please, in the bottom right, he's building up a second base.
Yeah, it just finished. Goldmine is now getting entangled. He's starting Wisp production on point with his macro. There's a second Ancient of War in front of that tree to help buffer its defenses, which brings us to a grand total of 2 Ancients of War and double the Nightmare for Hitman, with upgraded Huntresses coming out, soon to be powered by a double base economy, just as his entire army has been wrecked.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The Alchemist out-leveling the Shadowhunter, that's never good news. And, you know, Daddy Keeper, he's got twice the levels of the Blade Master. And most importantly, the Blade Master, no critical strike, no damage, really. Relatively weak Blade Master with low damage. Now, was able to come back in time here and tries to desperately, you know, get some creeping done on his own half of the map. And that's really the only position where he can go. And that's exactly why Please takes on the Goblin Shop right now. He knows exactly what his opponent can or cannot do. So the map control is fully his.
Yeah, and he's using that bonus gold he's getting from the expansion into the thing that gives you the most immediate advantage. Items. Healing Scroll, maybe Potion of Invulnerability. And making sure that with that one shop, he's the one that has those items rather than Hitman. In the meantime, Hitman in a spot of bother as his Blade Master was getting slowed and double bashed by creeps. They have 15% chance to bash. There's 2, so that's about 30%. Of course, not exactly, but as it turned out, he was actually taking something like 8 to 10 stuns in a row. The Blade Master was standing there. That took a long time. He took a lot of damage. Luck not on his side right now. And he's only at 40 food without even another burrow coming up against the running expansion. This looks dire indeed for our American champion.
Yeah, and here we have Fleece now level 3 on the Alchemist. He takes the healing spray. Level 2, you know, this makes the already upgraded Huntresses even more durable. Super strong. 2-0, by the way. These bad ladies are going to hurt quite a bit here, that's for sure. Now, once again, we only have Ancient of Wars, but 2 at a time. One at the expansion, one at the main base. So what can Hitman do? There's basically a timer, I would say. Even though he's behind, I think he has to make a move, because otherwise, the Night Elven forces are just going to spiral out of control.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Kendrick. Even when your odds are dire, a professional player will always consider what is the least bad thing I can do, not just the best thing. And even if you think it's not going to work, you better do the thing that has the best chance. And time is not on his side, so Hitman has to make a play. He doesn't have the siege damage to initiate and sustain a base trade, so it's got to be a fight. He's got to use those snakes, those serpent wards level 2.
Yep.
Which he does have to try and erect a defensive barrier here that he can fall back into. Try to draw in the Night Elf, maybe cut off his reinforcements, and he does just that. I like his angle of approach here. He's in between reinforcements.
Yeah, he catches off additional units for Please, you know, and if he doesn't have good micro on his waypoints, on his rally points, that could really make or break a fight here, because Hitman is still a player that needs to be taken seriously. True, he took a couple of blows early on, but he is the Fight Night champion for a reason, man. He has dismantled players of the caliber of Cash, so you got to take him seriously all the time here. So here, this is probably the most important fight of this game so far. We see a TP staff to safety to a better location, but Please is already on it. Almost shaking hands range here really between the Keeper and the Shadow Hunter, who's desperately trying to escape, but can he really make his way out of range of the Entangle? For now, that seems to be the case, but gets an orc for his measures. Really good fight for Please, but also no critical damage taken for Hitman, I would say.
Yeah, his Shadow Hunter survived, and funnily enough, he is bucking the trend here, actually throwing up a counter expansion, Kendrick. This was a pressure play, but it was not an all-in. He's upgrading, he's getting a great haul at his expansion. In the meantime, though, I do like that approach by Please. He said, Serpent Wards are my biggest threat, so how about I just hardcore focus the Shadow Hunter? Your blade is not threatening enough to dissuade me from taking free hits, so I'll just take out the biggest threat right away, rather than taking a front-to-back, honest and straight fight with the double surround on the Shadow. Good play though by Hitman, passing the Staff of Teleport to the Shadow and getting him out to safety.
Yeah, but also good map awareness by Please. You know, cool, calm, and collected. He knows exactly what his orc adversary is trying to do. He's tossing at owls left and right, you know. Always good to have this vision nearby, especially when you have that mass of Huntresses. And let's see really what Hitman can do. There's 4 shamans in his backline right now. Needs to be so careful. The surround happens immediately. Can maybe squeeze him out with the Blade Master. Doesn't really seem to be the case, but here he is. Good escape. Is it going to tickle down, though? Is the acid going to kill him? I don't think so. Level 1 acid bomb, not strong enough.
Yeah, so Acid Bomb doesn't cancel Healing Salve, which is non-combat consumable. The Shadow Strike does, though. So against Acid Bomb's poison-like effect, you can use that Healing Salve. Nice job by Hitman. Now throwing up some defensive snakes again. He's got a number of purges available should spells come out from the Keeper of the Grove here. But that is a big swathe of Huntresses here, Kendrick.
Oh yeah, Grubby, they're 2-1, you know. On top of the 2 attack upgrades, we now have additional armor as well, making them a little bit more resilient against this armada of snakes. But Hitman does have a lot of healing. Healing Scroll number 1 being used, on top, of course, the healing, the chain heal from the Shadow Hunter. These grunts, these orc units are not that easy to kill, but these Huntresses, man, their blade bouncing damage is just too much, it seems. Great micro as well, the healing spray on top of that, the icing on the cake for Please. The Russian Night Elf on the warpath here, really trying to encircle Hitman and making sure he never leaves that base. Again, the Blade Master is down, and likely the remainders of his units are going to follow as well. Really nice Shadow Meld micro there as well. And wow, a Russian challenger, Grubby. He takes game number 1. I guess we can now answer the question whether Please is good enough to face Hitman.
Yeah. Wow, incredible here. Hitman won his last encounter in the Fight Night with an easy 3-0.
Easy.
Yeah, we kind of felt like, can we find people that can even challenge him at this point? He's won a number of matches now. You found Please, Kendric, and so far he has lived up. That was a very solid display of the style that we have seen for probably about 1.5 years now already or so. Keeper, 1 archer, 3 hunts, few upgrades, you throw up an expansion, second Age of War, and you pressure play. Now, normally Hitman is quite good against this, but there were a few errors there in his play with his estimation with the Blade Master, the Ogre Mage, that really toppled his chances in this game. I think we're going to see a very different Hitman in game number 2.
Yeah, and you got to say that Echo Owls, due to its size, due to its predictability, I mean, it's just so... If you make those mistakes, if those mistakes happen to you, your heroes get killed, you don't get that one item of the Ogre, you make these really frustrating mistakes sometimes, and your opponent capitalized greatly on that, which is what Please did, then on this map, it's almost impossible to come back. You can't just go for a wild creep route that surprises your opponent, or you can throw in a ninja expansion or something like that. On Echo Isles, I feel like more than almost on any other map, mistakes are so unforgiving.
Yeah, 100% so. And especially something of this caliber, right? I mean, there's a mistake. I misplaced the grunt, but then there's a mistake like this. I lost my Blade Master practically to creeps, but I managed to give the experience to an opponent. It doesn't get much worse than that.
True, but our second game is already on the way, guys. You know us on the Fight Night. We don't mess around with long waiting times in between. And I was actually sacrificing my Pringles that I had stored earlier. I sacrificed them to the Blizzard Battle.net gods, so we wouldn't encounter any Reforged maladies. I've seen terrible things already.
How do you do that?
I basically had a small bowl, filled them full of Pringles, and put them outside of my window. And believe it or not, it is gone now. I don't know who took it.
Do you have a windowsill? Because if you don't, it's gone because you dropped it to the floor 6 stories down.
Yeah, I didn't check my neighbors downstairs, maybe.
a blizzard of Pringles. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Want to be careful with that. So we need about 30 seconds to a minute, and the players will be ready.
Yeah. By the way, Please, like you mentioned earlier, I think, Grubby, he's part of Oceanus Gaming, one of the really up-and-coming teams, looking very strong in 2020 with their recent acquisitions. We have Napo in there. We have arguably one of the best, if not the best, European orc right now, Spiral, in the team as well. So looking pretty good. Cool. And, of course, Please is part of that team now. Relatively recently was he acquired. Did I forget anyone? Death Note, I think, for the human players. He's also in there.
Very nice team.
Yeah, indeed. Also, it's so cool to see, after all these months that we've done Fight Night together, how many names that you see in the scene have already been featured on this show. It's pretty cool. We're actually finding it harder and harder to invite new people because so many players have already been shown here. Yeah,
exactly. And we do have some returning players as well, right, Kendric? It's cool, actually, to see people come back for a second chance.
Yeah.
And there's still some players that we've been trying to get, but that didn't have time yet.
Looking at you, Thorzane. We'll get you next time.
We'll get you yet. Yeah. Hitman actually threw down the glove and wanted to challenge Thorzane, despite knowing that this is a very challenging challenge. Thorzane is probably a big favorite, but he wasn't able to play against. He wasn't able to make this time. Yeah.
Yeah, he basically said, he's very busy and he didn't really get a lot of practice time in to play on the Fight Night, and that's a cool move. You want to make sure. I think when you're a player of the caliber of someone like Thorzane, you don't want to disappoint yourself. I think you can probably confirm that too. You don't want to disappoint yourself. That's like the highest thing as a player,
Yeah, exactly. So he wants to make sure that he's ready for that. Doesn't want to waste his chance.
Yeah, that's true. Next map, by the way, is going to be Terna's Stand. One of my personal favorites. Unluckily, we don't really get to see it that often. A lot of players don't like the map too much. But we have a Nightelf here.
It's quite a polarizing map in terms of balance. So this map characterizes itself, ladies and gentlemen, with 4 bridges, and bridges are always a natural advantage to defend. They're a bottleneck. The map is also the largest rush distance of all of our competitive maps, together with concealed hills, which also means that that's another defensive feature. And thirdly, the natural expansion location is encapsulated by terrain. another defensive feature. So this is a slow map, defender's advantage. And what that means is that races that are naturally better at getting an expansion and defending it have an edge over races that typically rely on reactive play. For that reason, often the players will veto it away, favoring other more neutral maps, smaller, more aggressive maps.
Yeah. Now, of course, something we have to mention when there's a Nightelf in Tau. There's one hero against human in particular that is being played a lot by Night Elves, and that is the Warden. You know, has actually shown really good results recently. What is your take on the Warden in this matchup, though, against Orcs?
Yeah, against Orcs is very unusual, Kendrick.
Yeah.
It stands up on the knife's edge. Yeah, we have seen it in the past, but it's never really been meta, Warden against Orc.
What would you say is the reason for it? Are Orcs unit just too hard to kill in the early game to really get value of? You know, peons hiding in the burrows too easily for worker harass, or what is it?
Yeah, that's it. It's that and more. Peons can hide in burrows, unlike peasants or acolytes. Orc heroes and units are burly and not numerous. So Fan of Knives, which is meant to kill many small units, isn't as good. And even Shadow Strike, which can hunt down a single target, is not nearly as useful as an Entangle. One Entangle on such a big unit is so valuable. But Shadow Strike, again, it doesn't get a unit kill too easily. 700 health grunts. You need many Shadow Strikes. Now, if a Warden runs out of mana, she's practically useless. She's not even a ranged attacker who can get easy, safe hits in, like a Keeper of the Grove or a Priestess of the Moon. And Orc also has that Hex focus firing capability. Because she's a frontliner, she will both take damage and lose a lot of mana. And that's very expensive on your Moonwells. Orc will try to rush you and finish you off if you try to go Warden. Late game, she's fine, but you don't get to go to the late game against most good Orcs.
Yeah, very good points. You know, I know you've been playing the campaign a lot yourself, right, lately?
Yeah.
So me too, by the way. And I had this really dope mission today. When I see this matchup, Orc versus Night Elf, it takes me back to the ROC Orc campaign that I played today, where the Orcs transformed into pretty cool units with chaos damage.
Oh yeah, I love that mission.
Was that epic?
Yeah, it's super epic. Actually, I just finished upgrading Bloodlust.
Yeah.
And then it was wasted because they all became Fel Orcs. But man, those Warlocks, you have that Bolt of Death or whatever.
Yeah, kind of like a single target stun.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And then I was in the same way. Like, I had Grummesh there, you know, the Blade Master, and I was so sad that I couldn't Bloodlust him anymore until it dawned to me that after 2 minutes or so, I've got Unholy Frenzium. That's even better.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the campaign as well. So, same opening here for Hitman. 18 food tech with the Voodoo Lounge, no barracks, immediate harass with the Blade Master, and he's scouting with the Peon. The Peon has found the Archer and the Keeper of the Grove, who's doing an Ancient of War creeping routine. And the Peon was not able to steal the creep. Now, the Blade Master is running there with a Windwalk. He has to speed scroll in order to do some kind of steals. Wait, is he going to go for the creeping of the level 5? Yep.
Oh, he's trying to go for the wizard, the rogue wizard. Maybe with the help of a lightning shield, he's trying to steal one of the items and one of the bigger minions in the early creep rotation for the Keeper. Sneaky moves by Hitman. Can he pull it off this time against the Ogre Magi? Last time it didn't really work out that well. Has a miss attack in here as well. Taking a little bit of DPS away.
Armor. He needs to abolish the Frost Armor and split healing, and he just about makes it. That was close, mate. Does steal a greater mana pot.
Yeah, one of the best items, especially for the Keeper, so that's a golden steal, really. Imagine early level 3 Keeper, unharassed, and then pumping out trees and entangle like there was no tomorrow, so that's a good find, that's a good steal, but like you said, Grubby, that was as close as it really gets here, wasn't it?
It really was, and, you know, Hitman actually gave him a bit of the confusion routine with his Blade Master. A Dust did come out and an Entangle will come out, but in between now and the next Entangle, the Blade Master will get the cancel on the Tree of Life here. That is a mistake for please. Let me explain you why. You throw down a Tree of Life and you find a Blade Master that is low and healing with a Heal Solve. You Dust of Appearance and he goes around the corner. That means you cannot hit your Entangle. You have a guess. Did he go left or top? You don't know. You only know as soon as you go around the corner. Please chose wrong. But it's only bad if he chose wrong while going bot, because he has a Tree of Life to defend.
Wow,
right?
That is actually a lot of damage now. He gets the Blade Master for his effort, That's pretty vicious. At least, you know, a little bit of a damage once again for Hitman. At least he stole a little bit of XP away, but he kind of gave it over anyways because of his hero loss. So it was feel like pretty much give or take.
It's kind of like Please didn't deserve that in a sense because he chose the wrong direction. Like, it's fine to be wrong as long as you're defending your Tree of Life. But he was wrong and was unable to defend his Tree of Life. But then the Hitman had remorse and he said, I feel really bad about what happened. Even got the dust, which is smart because you're denying the enemy to get the second dust of appearance, so you're continuing to have safety from Windwalk. But then he just showed himself and he got killed by, to be fair, a very well used lightning shield by Please with an entangle. And there we go. Now Please is level 3 keeper. He's got his Tree of Life coming up in the aforementioned very safe positioning. So this is terrible for Hitman, really. He could be looking to be down a 0-2 descent in this best of 5, Kendric.
Yeah, and Please says, thank you very much, sir. He won't ask twice for a favor for a nugget like this, and he builds that expansion up immediately, you know? The first one was cancelled, was a little bit too much in the open, and Hitman had a great read on this, but the second one he probably won't be able to cancel anymore. 40% done. Hitman once again tries to shimmy over, tries to be annoying, but Please sends in 4 ladies, 4 archers to greet him. What is normally a very delightful prospect when they're hostile and shooting bows at you, not so much.
Not so much. You speak from experience.
I wish I would.
Yeah, so no dust of appearance on the keeper, but he does know the Blade Master's probably around here. He's standing in a position where, should the blade reveal itself, he can still entangle it. You know, Hitman, he's just going to go for a single kill, and then we'll be running away. Meantime, Shadowhunter creeping. He's starting to lay the groundworks for the beginning of a comeback. With the Shadowhunter creeping up to level 2, maybe 3. Shaman soon going to be coming out. He can try to throw up a counter expansion that will trail Please's expansion by several minutes. But maybe he thinks if his second hero gets enough value, he can offset that disadvantage.
Yeah, look at this tricky archer location, by the way, in the bottom for Please. You know, you mentioned this, Grubby, right? There could be a peon sneaking by. There could be someone else creeping the shop, maybe. So this archer currently in nighttime gives a lot of information over to Please as to what the Shadowhunter is up to.
It's a good play, and we don't see it enough. Very nice to see that coming out. Now, if Please is aware of his senses, he will see that Shaman, he will know what's going on. And although he doesn't know that the expansion is being taken, he will know it becomes a possibility.
Here goes the Alchemist, by the way, defending the expansion. And the Keeper with a sneaky play, using the Staff of Teleportation to teleport onto said Archer, you know. Also not just only acting as a scout unit, but also as a teleportation beacon. So, very good value. The Keeper is likely trying to go after the Trolls, the Mercenaries here. That's going to take a lot of effort, actually, now going on over the Berserker. That's probably not going to be very effective because of the Shadow Priest here. So, maybe a little bit of wrong targeting here for now.
Oh, but he did remember that the Period of Fatality was still available on the Natural expansion.
Oh!
And he says, thank you very much. Yep, he just went there, took a bit of damage, picked it up, entangles a grunt on his way out.
My vitality now.
Yeah, my vitality now. It's mine, actually, Kendrick. It's mine. Or is it yours?
All right.
Nice job.
Nice, yeah. That entangle might just barely be enough to take out that grunt, yeah. Oh, nah, actually not enough. It's the safety. It looked like the Shadowhunter wasn't even trying to save it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. He could have thrown in a tangle on it. Actually, does not get cancelled by... he could have thrown a heal salve on it, and Tangle does not cancel this, but he didn't do so. In the meantime, Blade Master taking down the Entangled Goldmine for the umpteenth time. What a phenomenal job here by Hitman, and doesn't get killed by the Dust of Appearance Entangled Keeper that just showed up. Perfect timing by Hitman, and he will be available to throw up a counter expansion. 200 gold, peon on the move. We have hero levels 2 and 3 for Hitman, whereas he's kept the Alchemist at level 1 flat. Not a single point of experience, and Hitman definitely managed it. He's made a comeback so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He came back from that early setback where he lost his Blade Master quite nicely. And something that, he gets that Creep Jack going immediately. Actually, the Alchemist in a not-so-admirable position right now gets actually body blocked easy and taken out just as easily as well. Just when you least wanted it to happen, there came Hitman around the corner and takes not only the Alchemist, but also the majority of the creep camp here. Very nicely done. Bigger mana potion, by the way, now on the Blade too. That could be passed over and will be passed over to the Shadow Hunter very likely, who's, by the way, stacked himself, man. These Orc heroes, they have juice, the blue juice, for days.
Yep, that Greater Mana Potion was stolen from the level 5 creep that Please was on the cusp of finishing off himself.
Yeah.
And the experience, I believe, did go over to Please, but that's not much consolation when you're up against double Greater Mana Pot Shadow Hunter. Look at the army for Please. This is not where he wanted to be at this phase. He's really been slowed down by the Blade Master harass, and despite, you know, the expansion that he got, he was never able to start mining. And at this point, the comeback is pretty much complete. This is an unassailable position for Please.
How is Please supposed to stop this from happening? I don't think he can. There's not enough Wisp to repair the expansion. Only now are 2 workers trying to help out a little bit, but the number of snakes is just overwhelming. Hitman gets level 3 on his Blade Master as well. Like we said earlier, there's plenty of mana for those Orcish heroes to use their abilities and really drive away the Nightelf, who, by the way, doesn't have any frontlining anymore except for the Alchemist. All these squishy archers in the back, they're falling like flies. Where are the Huntresses? Please didn't get them through. This expansion was more of a liability, really, than anything else, right, Grubby? There was no mining going on at all.
Yep, exactly, Kendric. Had he not had the expansion, the Alchemist would have been free to be creeping, which is kind of what he needs. He needs Heal Spray and Acid Bomb and more levels and more gold. But because he was defending an expansion and failing at it, the Alchemist also has no creeping, whereas the Shadow is level 3. So it's an excellent display of understanding by Hitman how you can have different kinds of advantages and how to come back from being down in the economical department. That delay, that was crucial.
Yeah, that is a really nasty attack by Hitman right now. All these snakes drive fear and sorrow into the heart of any Night Elven player who relies on hunts, or at least had the plan on doing so. There's no hunts there anymore. There's no resources. Well, the Alchemist says goodbye once again and has to bite the grass. This looks like an almost unstoppable assault, really, from the NA Orc player. Can maybe the Keeper and all the ladies in the back turn the tide? No, they cannot. The champion ties out the score, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a series at our hands.
Yeah, score 1-1. That was a great comeback here by Hitman, who had a decent start into the same mistake once again, losing his Blade Master, but then really knew what ends he had to tie together to stage a comeback. As for Please, I feel like, although I understood what he was doing with the Keeper staffing towards the Shadow Hunter, it seems like his sense of timing was a little bit off. He went with the Entangles on various different units, but there was one Shaman and then the next. This is an 18 food, no barracks fast stack. That means that Shamans come out very, very quickly. Had he done the exact same thing against the barracks opener, there would not be any Shamans yet, and every Entangle would be a huge problem for Hitman. Shadowhunter might not have been level 2 yet, but because the tech is that fast, it becomes less punishable. In hindsight, he would have loved to have that Keeper of the Grove at his own Tree of Life expansion, entangling, revealing, and stopping that Blade Master from taking down his entangled gold mine. That little trade switcheroo, Keeper on the other side of the map, did not work out for Please, especially in hindsight.
Yeah, he may have gotten the item, you know, he stole that away, but one parry up of Vitality is not worth all the effort, like you said. And, you know, Hitman, he played that so well. He had the Mercenaries just when he needed them. And what I really thought was lacking a little bit from Please as well in this game may have been 1 or 2 early hunts that once again had the owls ready. You know, that was really nice on Echo Owls, you know, constantly revealing the Blade Master, making it hard for him to backstep during creeping. This time, it felt like he didn't really have that.
Yep, that's true. Even had he not had the Keeper at the Entangled Gold Mine, having an owl there would mean he gets hundreds of points of damage more on the Blade Master, and Blade can't be as risky. I think there must have been 3 cancels of the mine. Those Huntresses would have done more damage as well. Normal damage, doing more than piercing. So I agree with you there. It was probably complacency after the early kill on the Blade Master, where he thought, I can just start building my 100 food army. And I want to have some archers, and maybe later I'll make some dryads or talents. I don't know exactly what, but I think it was complacency.
Yeah, that is certainly true. But, you know, this game, it was definitely good for you and me, Grubby, for the viewers out there as well, because now things get a little bit more interesting. And if you guys are tuning in for the first time, if it's your first fight night, you know, maybe with Reforged, you want to sniff in a little bit of esports air in Warcraft 3, then feel free to follow us here on Heroes Hearth, and also make sure to check out our YouTube channel. You can find it under Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3 as well. We're uploading the VOD there, so if you ever miss a round, if you ever miss a fight night, you can easily catch up there. We've had some awesome series. Really, I think 2 weeks ago was the first time in Aeons, it felt like, where we had a clean 3-0 sweep by Hitman against Terror, who had a hard time there. But aside from that, really, Grubby, a 3-1, 3-2 with epic, spicy matches is really the norm.
Yeah, exactly. That's 3-0. Sometimes that's just what happens. It may be like, oh, oops, we invited a silver player against Grandmaster. But that hasn't happened yet. We haven't had to scrape the barrel like that. We've had phenomenal players. And if a 3-0 happens, as an enjoyer of multiple matches, we say like, oh, drat. But as an enjoyer of top plays, that's something to be celebrated. It shows the excellence and the preparation of the winning player.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So also, of course, you can always drop feedback on the social media, you know, for us or to us as to which player you guys want to see, which matchup is the most interesting one to you. You can find our Twitters, of course, right here on the overlays. If you don't really want to watch there, then, or if you don't see it, don't want to memorize it, you just go at @followgrubby or @KendrickSwish, and you're gonna find us out immediately. Now, the lobby has been created. We were not debated. It's actually the right lobby. And we're going on to Last Refuge, right?
Concealed Hill.
Concealed Hill.
Yeah, so that's the choice for Please. Having lost a match, Concealed Hill is... I agree. I think it's very good, especially for the Huntress style.
Yes.
Not for the Archers. The Huntress Tree of Life expansion style. The hardest part for the Nightelf is to take an expansion. This map has... 6 creeps on the expansion, 1 level 5, 2 poison, 1 dispellers, and 2 small ones. One even has an aura that deals bonus damage. That's a pretty strong creep camp, and if the orc does well, he can disrupt the Night Elf's creeping during that time. But once and if the Night Elf establishes an expansion, it's such a long map, such a longitudinal map, vertical, that in order for Orc to attack it, it gives Night Elf ample opportunity to stage a counterattack, which Orc can usually not afford. So let's see how Please is able to utilize the architecture of the map, maybe to create just such a scenario.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go as well. The players are set, the map is loading, and we guys, us and you guys, we're going on to Concealed Hill. One of my personal favorites. Some players don't like it because there's healing fountains, because there's a lot of crazy items which kind of prioritizes or sometimes causes crazy RNG. But I like it still. And for both races, I think it's a very favorable matchup. Like you said, the healing fountains on Huntresses. The beefier, the burlier the units, the better. You know, when it comes to healing up. Same goes, of course, with very harass-intense heroes like the Blade Master. You know, if he takes a little bit too much damage. Same goes for the Keeper. They have an additional source of regeneration.
Yeah, and you mentioned the RNG of different items. The real point of contention usually in this matchup is that Ogre Lord at the middle gold mine, right smack daddy in the middle of the map. That Ogre Lord level 7 drops a high tier item that can either be a huge stat boosting item on one of your heroes, or it can be an aura item that affects your entire army, giving bonus movement speed, attack speed, mana regeneration, or even health regeneration as well. Very powerful items. Let's see who is going to be getting it and how they plan to do so.
Yeah, and both players really have the means to sort of abuse the AI of said Ogre Lord a little bit. You know, we've seen this done by many players in the past, whether you do it with a Hex on the Shadowhunter, whether you do it with a unit block or an Entangle. You know, both players can really add a little something to it. There's crazy things you can do sometimes, very creative things. How you can toy and play with the Creeps AI.
Yeah, you can pull the Ogre Lords over to the tavern. If you see the 2 house-like icons on the minimap in the bottom left, pulling them over there, you can create an artificial wall with your units, preventing it to go home. And it doesn't hit you back as hard as if you engage it in its natural terrain. So that can be one way to isolate it and kill it more easily than would otherwise be permitted that early on in the game. We have a Keeper of the Grove coming out for Please and a Blade Master, this time with the Barracks, not with the early shot. So we're going to see a little bit of creeping by Hitman before he ventures onto the map.
Yeah, really cool. So this time we're going to see a little bit of a slower tech. We're going to see more early unit assistance for those grunts, or from those grunts, we should say. So we're likely not going to see the Blade Master being as aggressive as he was in all those previous games before. This time he actually takes care of the green camp immediately with the help of a grunt, tries to go for the item as fast as possible. Best item probably being, gloves are pretty good, but circlet probably the one you want to go for.
Yeah, circlet best, then claws, then gloves, then ring. But funnily enough, in the very late game, it could be the exact opposite.
Yeah.
This isn't the late game, though. So right now, gloves is intermediate.
See what the keeper actually found here so far. Found the gloves, too. And is now marching forward towards the southern half of the map. Maybe trying to find a weakened grunt. Or trying to find... Actually, let's see what he's doing here.
What the heck is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
So he's pulling out the natural... You're gonna try to entangle the big gnoll, maybe?
Yeah.
A player's forces are
Force of nature, entangle on the gnoll. Wait, is he just gonna triple entangle? No force of nature.
Okay, and Hitman is, funnily enough, quite close here as well. Of course, has no vision of what Please is doing right now. So, funnily enough, they're quite close to one another. So he's using a lot of mana. He's using a lot of mana for this big item on Hitman's creep rod. He takes a lot of experience away from the Shadow Hunter later, once that comes out.
Yeah, it's really cool, actually. You get this high-level item. If an opponent were looking for you, they would not find you.
Oh!
The dust. He has the dust, but there's a speed scroll.
Oh my god,
Wow.
that was so close. The speed scroll reaction time, but also great reaction time by Please, really, to buy that dust and use it immediately. That could have escalated. That forces out a lot of defensive, you know, a lot of defensive behavior. You know, he just has to go back, and that is a lot of time that Please just bought himself here with this aggressive maneuver.
Now, having said that, there's no more mana on the keeper, so he doesn't have teeth to scare away Hitman from harassing him. And this could be a steal. That turtle is going towards Hitman. Item
easy.
for Please, Cloak of Shadows, but Hitman gets the experience. He has a sentry ward as well, which means he could, in theory, finish off that archer, especially once his grunts join the fray.
Yeah, Hitman, man, he likes his healing wards, his vision wards. He likes them really a lot, and I think in one of the interviews, one of the post-interviews last time, he said that he thinks the item is broken. He would actually love it to be removed. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that was a great trait between these two players, you know. Not really giving an inch, but the item here, the Talisman of Evasion, so huge. That was a really cool maneuver, once again, by Please, really reading the map well and getting himself a nice little boost.
Yeah, the dust ends up removing one of the sentry wards. There's one left for Hitman. Now an entangle comes in. With the second Huntress in the tree, and this might just be enough damage on the grunt, but it's going to be close. 140, 120, 80, 70, 50, 33 health, and the final two hits, and he gets it. And the experience, I'm not 100% sure. I think it might have been denied by the orc, but I missed that part.
I think it got, I think it was taken by Please, but regardless, that was a really good win, you know, taking out the grunt. And as a MOBA player myself, I appreciate the stutter stepping, you know, closing in the distance to make sure that this grunt definitely falls. I give my thumbs up of approval.
Yeah, it's always quite a nice extra bonus. Something people have started to do more and more because of that existence of those MOBA games as well. We realize, hey, we can't let them have all the denying glory.
Yeah, denying stutter stepping, you know, Warcraft 3 invented it. MOBA's players perfected it, and now Warcraft 3 players benefit of it. So,
bringing it all back home.
All right, we see the expansion attempt once again coming in from Please, but the Blade Master, of course, sees it exactly. And now the Gloves of Haste really come in big time. You know, the increased attack speed is so huge, but has the construction process been too far already? I don't think he can take it anymore, especially not with the Poison Ivy, with the Alchemist nearby. Too much damage just coming through. Once again, nice owl this time. Good stuff. Please is definitely having a lot of control over this map so far.
Yeah, and the cool thing is he's already got that Sentinel in all the valuable places. Now at the fountain as well. In comes an Entangle. Is this going to be a repeat speed scroll? The Blade Master down to 70 life. There is another owl, but he's out of range. Very, very close, but not a hat trick for Please. Getting a Blade Master 3 times in a row in 3 different games.
Yeah, are we watching Fly play this time? Or what's going on with the Blade Masters? No, this time he gets away. No early sacrifice, no early losses for Hitman. Of course, has a little bit of time to regenerate right now. And like we said earlier, this one null that's been taken away kind of confuses or annoys Hitman right now, because he has to take one item less and a little bit of less experience as well. The level 2 takes significantly longer. And, you know, this gold mine spot, not really safe to take in the first place because Please constantly shimmies around in its vicinity.
Tree of Life, in the meantime, has finished. It's still rooted. It can uproot, eat a tree, and regenerate for free. Blade Master shows up, though, and starts hitting it. Now, the Blade Master will lose that fight, actually. Yeah. And as soon as he realizes that, he takes a chill pill, stands next to it, and heals. But he wants to make sure that it doesn't uproot and gains crucial movement. For Hitman, it seems to be all about delaying in his games. This is his methodology. He's not necessarily saying, like, okay, that tree needs to die right now, no matter the cost. No, he's going for the delays. And so he wants to make sure that he is going to be there when the expansion is being taken. He doesn't have to be there right now.
Okay, Shadowhunter working on that level 3, still going to take a little while. Blade Master is so close to getting it right now. Probably going to take the crab here next to the Murlocs, and that's going to be either crit level 2 if he wants to go for damage boost, or for more mobility, of course, with the Windwalk should be a good choice as well. But is he going to spot now the Nightelf? Once again, please, this could be a very heated situation, a sticky situation for both players, really. It's a wide open terrain, so it's not easy to spot the Blade Master with owls, you know, because these trees are so far away, and he's likely going to go on a Wisp Hunt here right now. He knows exactly how far the process on the expansion is right now, so what is Hitman going to do? Let's see, where are the Shamans? They're currently being produced. These are very, very important to actually add to the map, to the army composition right now.
Yeah, to the mix. He's got that Shaman upgrades, the Adepts. He's got 40 food. Another burrow coming out now, slightly on the late side, about 15 seconds late. Meantime, the tree is rooting. Now, I am very surprised right now that the Tree of Ages has upgraded to a Tree of Eternity. Kendric, have you seen this before, like recently?
I really cannot remember when I see Night Elves against Orcs tech that far with just tier 1 units. And
what's the point? Is he gonna get an Orb of Venom? Is that there we go.
Okay, just for the Orb of Venom, you know, extra damage maybe?
That's 700 gold for an Orb of Venom. And if he gets nothing else, that's 700 gold for an Orb of Venom. Just to reiterate, he's at 41 food because of that. His second Age of War was delayed. He's not currently producing. And he's up against a Shadowhunter level 3 with a 40 food army. He's just trying to take his expansion, which has not been mining yet. Yeah. Alchemist is only level 1. And he went tier 3 for an Orb of Venom. This is insane. Let's see what it's going to be doing. Keeper is not yet level 3, but he's got an Orb. It better be good, please. Here goes the defense of the expansion.
It's a very risky Wall Street gamble that Please is currently on here. Let's see if it pays off or if he's going to pay dividends. We're going to see this hero focus right now. When in doubt, win with your back against the wall. Try to focus on the hero. The Blade Master falls, actually double level up for Please. Hitman is pulling off another fly move, and with the orb damage, yeah, you know what? It could have been very much the damage mitigation or the extra damage that Hitman wasn't calculating in, you know? Maybe it was.
Oh man, that Blade Master was level 3. It had a potion of invulnerability, and it was going back in, even though he was revealed, and he was running away. He moves back in, does not use the potion of invulnerability.
There it is,
That was a big kind of unforced error by Hitman. Nonetheless, though, many wisps were burned there. We are in a huge scarcity of wisp. There's about 1 mining in lumber at home. There's 2 in the gold mine. And Hitman is about set up soon-ish to take a counter expansion. But that was a really big error. And that's going to hurt him. Because now suddenly 2 attack upgrades, Orb of Venom, Acid Bomb. Now that gap, that really risky Wall Street gamble that you said, that gap has been closed. And now Orb of Venom is just unironically good and very opportune.
I was like you said, Grubby, it was 700 something gold, you know. Imagine in a sticky situation where the orc is trying to kill your expansion of how many huntresses, how many archers that would be, you know, to really reinforce how many items, maybe invul potions and scrolls of healing, all that stuff, how much you could have invested in with. But now, of course, like you said, it's worth it, you know. Now you didn't lose that many units, you forced the orc back once again. Now you can really just lean back and enjoy the tickling poison damage of both your keeper and your alchemist. And he finds unit after unit. He has plenty of huntresses to work with right now, and Hitman once again in retreat.
Huntresses on the prowl, hunting down with their Moon Dice, with their 2-0. Invulnerability Potion comes down on Blade, ending in seconds soon. Now Blade Master is available to be attacked once again. The Grunts, meantime, are suffering, but there's many Serpent Wards. They're doing a great job. Blade Master with the refocus though. Purge, Blade Master running away. And a Mana Pot on the Shadow Hunter means he can give it another heal.
Oof. Very close, man. He doesn't have any protective items on the Blade Master itself. He's completely dependent now on the Shadow Hunter to keep him safe. These Serpent Wars, they're certainly a real threat. Very dangerous against those Huntresses, but does he have enough punching power besides those Serpents? You know, please. He's going in deep. He's trying a very risky maneuver. That Blade Master, once again, doesn't have anything. Goes in with a crit. Triple slice actually in a row and takes out another Huntress. Very nicely done. But please, man, he has the double base. Only now is Hitman trying to rebuild and counter-expand.
Ooh, nice job by Hitman. He goes to the fountain and the Huntresses are hidden. He uses that dust. He tries to take down a Huntress, but here's the thing. You can dust, but the creeps will not be able to make use of that. That is vision uniquely available to you. So nonetheless, please, cheekily wakes up the creeps, rehides with his Huntresses. He's already got one Shaman out of the equation. There goes a second one almost. Up, Orb of Venom, popped on the head. Shaman goes down.
Yeah, nice find, nice catch once again by Please, who is looking so strong. I was not expecting him to put up this much pressure against our reigning champion. Looking strong, really, that big X question mark, you know. Nobody knew what he was going to bring to the table. Grubby, you seemed very confident whenever we talked about him. You know, you said you used to practice with him a lot. He's a cool guy, very friendly, outgoing. And I wasn't really sure, you know, if we chose the right person. I'm going to be bluntly honest with you. But so far, I'm so glad we chose him. I'm so glad he accepted to play today.
Yeah, and you see how uncomplaining he is in the whole process. Like, he's very easygoing. And easygoing, it doesn't just... it's not just pleasant to interact with, but it also is usually a mental advantage. When you don't have a problem with this and a problem with that, and you're just like, yeah, cool, I'll play. It's a happy-go-lucky attitude that sets you up for success in a way, because of that, you know, that optimism. Just believe in yourself, play your game, don't worry about other things, don't show weaknesses. He has a relaxed appearance, even in front of Hitman. Several dialogues we had as we were trying to set up the game, and you know, he's playing his game and he's doing his fun little things, going for tier 3, getting Orb of Venom. Still, there was that Blade Master loss. If this becomes a 2-1 for Please, he needs to be careful. That risk might have just as easily turned against him. And now the Tree of Life goes down. That's a base trade. We have a 50 food Please with 10 lumber and 1200 gold, but without an expansion now. And he's going to lose more still. Moonwells are going to be going down. He can barely reproduce those Moonwells with the lack of wisps that he has at home. He has no lumber.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he lost all those wisps, to be honest. Especially
Resonating on Shamans, of course.
The lumber ones in particular. So where are these Huntresses going to go now? We have fortified armors, of course, on those burrows, so they're not going to fall that easily. He's not even focusing them as a response, so he's going straight for the production facility. You know, like indicated on the Blizzard website, go for production facilities if you attack your opponent, so they can reinforce.
Oh, the immediate surround on the Shadow Hunter, which does have a Staff of Teleport, though. Good riddance for Hitman. He will immediately hightail it out of there to the shop. Doesn't buy anything there, but that Shadow Hunter is now safe, and this looks like a pretty decent fight for Hitman. Lightning Shielded Grunts, Snake Wards.
Very true, and you know what? I like the Scroll of Protection for Please to have a little bit of extra protection against the snakes, but the snakes, they're growing ever so strong in numbers, and this is really starting to turn into a sticky situation for the Nightelf players. By the way, Please doesn't focus these Serpent Wards at all. He's exclusively going after the units, and this could really bite him. The snake fight could be real, and a punishing one at that.
He has a heal scroll still. He's cycling out hurt Huntresses, but the Keeper is in an exposed location. Man, he lost a lot here. Please, down to 51 food, 48 against 38. That's a 10 food advantage, but in the meantime, the Shadow Hunter
creeps are going to wake up.
Monster.
The creeps are going to wake up. These Huntresses are not safe, please.
Please.
You gotta time that wisely. It's only a couple of more minutes until... Okay, I think he notices, right? Yeah, he notices. Oh, good management.
And he gets out just in time.
Whoa, that couldn't have been any better, really.
So pro.
Yeah, so pro. That's why he's playing and not me. So
those Moonwells never died, but the Tree of Life was never remade. So it's 1 versus 1 base with Keeper 4, Alchemist 3, and you're against Shadow 4. And Blade Master 4. This looks really, really good for Hitman.
Wait, Grubby, is it just me that needs to get used to the new looks of these archers, or do they remind you a little bit of carrion beetles when they run around with their capes, you know, weaving in it? Just wait until they get unstealth, you know? Just pay attention to their capes. I always think there's carrion beetles running around.
You mean Anubarak's carrion beetles?
Yeah.
No, I have not made that
look,
association yet.
Look at him now.
Let's see.
Don't they look like beetles with this cape just floating in the wind?
Because the cape is so stiff, it looks like an exoskeleton. Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't see the beetle, but I won't call you crazy.
All right, thank you. Oh, Django of Endurance, that's a huge item right now. Doesn't even have to build a TC anymore. Not that he was planning on doing so in the first place, but that is crazy value, especially for the Blade Master, of course, in the back as well. Such a huge find, and that is what we said earlier, Grubby, with this Ogre Lord being the most valuable creep spot on the map.
Yeah, this has now been granted to Hitman. To the victor goes the spoils, which also happens to be his real life name. He's got that Ogre Lord down.
True.
Now, Priestess of the Moon comes out third here with True Shot level 3. A little exciting for those that haven't seen the Priestess yet in Reforged, maybe. And also the fact that she's not that common in the pro meta. But it seems the right play. You're on 1 base, you're on tier 3, you've got massive amounts of attack damage on your Huntresses. How do you get the most value out of the final 5 food? A Priestess might just be it.
Yeah, that's another one of those advantages, of course, when you prematurely teched tier 3, you can go for a 3rd hero, and especially with the Priestess of the Moon, you know, amplifying the damage by a significant amount of... Yeah, Creep Jack coming through on 2 sides. Fleece is getting sandwiched right now between creeps and orc units. This is not a very pleasant spot for you to be in as any player, really. So he has to retreat, has to find a better position right now. The Alchemist, though, in a lot of trouble, has to pop the healing scroll to keep him safe alive, but that's not going to work out. No Staff of Preservation available right now. Couldn't afford that one earlier. We have Grunts coming in with Bloodlust. Orc units are on the warpath and really trying to annihilate these Night Elves, and Hitman is trying really hard right now to take game number 3 in his possession.
And Bloodlusted Grunts really do look fantastic, and what a menacing sight they are for an opponent as well. Tier 3 had been reached for Hitman, he's got that Bloodlust, and despite hardcore focus fire on the Blade, which nearly paid dividends, I counted 26 points of life on the Blade Master only, the Grunts and the Shamans were too powerful. Blade Master comes back in, regained his life thanks to Healing Waves. Keeper of the Grove hero focus fire, he's got nothing to save him. Blade Master level 5, and the Keeper goes down.
Keeper goes down. The Wisps arrived a little bit too late to really dispel all that pesky bloodlust in the backline. The Blade Master was out of control, man, really slicing and dicing his way through to victory. And now with 2 heroes down for Please, what can he do? Only a level 1, a meager Priestess of the Moon can probably not hold the line no matter how hard she tries. The Shaman's uncontested. The Snakes continue to spit wreaking havoc into the Night Elf ranks, and Please taps out 2-1 for a champion. Hitman is really finding his rhythm, it seems.
So we deviate to the second loser map here for Please, who is now down 1 to start it off well. Let's see what that map is going to be. But first a question, Kendric. When you see a Priestess of the Moon solo defending, both of her allies dead, do you not reminisce about Heroes of the Storm games where your Tyrande just wouldn't heal you?
Yeah,
she had full mana, the Priestess.
The thing is,
both of her allies died. It's like, can you focus less on dealing damage and just healing?
Please doesn't have any allies, though, to blame, you know? That's the big difference between Warcraft 3 and Heroes, sadly.
Well, the Keeper and the Alchemist died, and Tyrande has full mana.
Yeah, Tyrande, my love, where is your heal? That's actually something that I never really understood as much either, you know, in Heroes of the Storm, that they made her so healing heavy, when in Warcraft 3 she was quite the opposite of a healer, right? She was damage dealer.
Raw damage.
Top
Raw
damage
and vision. Yeah.
Starfall level 6, probably the best damage ulti.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far. If you let it run its full, if you let it run its full course, yes, but nobody does. Whereas Metamorphosis is a lot harder to stop and not give value. Also due to its ginormous splash and the fact that it gives health points, and it's uncancelable. Starfall was fantastic in Reign of Chaos when both never got any stun or silence.
Yep, true. Can you actually... I know before the changes of True Tranquility, a lot of people would do that on the Keeper, where they put in Invul Potion first and then used Tranquility. Can you do the same with Starfall?
I think you're thinking of Potion of Anti-Magic from the Nightelf Tier 3 shop. Because the Invul gets cancelled by channels to prevent
That
just
was
what you're
the
talking about.
anti-magic, yeah.
But yes, Anti-Magic Shell into Tranquility or into Starfall removes all cancel opportunities unless you first dispel it or via Ensnare, which is a physical cancel.
Right.
That's something that you definitely should try to do if you're going to cast like a big Starfall in a 4-on-4 maybe.
Yeah. Man, good times. I wonder if we're ever going to see Priestess of the Moon return into the meta. I mean, frankly speaking, in Night of Mirror, she's actually not that uncommon.
Yeah, that's true. And raw damage is still really, really good there. People make a lot of archers, a lot of hunters and dryads. Alternatively, it's like Demon Hunter and bears. We might have a Knights of Mirror someday in Fight Night, guys. But so far, we've avoided that, well, intentionally.
Intentionally, indeed. You know, we only had one Orc Mirror matchup, but that's because simply the players were so stellar and the names were so big. We definitely wanted to present those to you guys. Now, game number 4 is on the way. Hitman is basically on match point here. Please has to put all of his effort, all of his energy into this game if he wants to prevent his, his loss in the series and if he wants to have another chance. But before the game goes live, guys, we want to explain to you quickly the bounty breakdown, how it works, how you can support the scene and the players a little bit more if you so choose to do so. If you have bits lying around or if you want to contribute with a donation, 60% goes straight into the player's hands, straight to the bounty, and the remaining ones, the remaining 40%, they go to us, the casters, the production crew in the background who are doing a super solid job. And we really appreciate you guys watching the Fight Nights, 2 weeks after 2 weeks. We're having a great time, Grubby and I, and it's really a cool tradition. It has become this nice gathering, this nice meeting for people that just want to have fun with a little bit of esports.
Amen. Every 2 weeks we do this, so
brother.
The next one is going to be in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Whoever wins now will move towards that, and we are always winners. We will also move to 2 weeks from now because you guys are watching. Kendric and I will be back.
There we go, guys. Northern
You're
Isles
supposed
is...
to say, aw.
Aw.
Yeah,
So
Northern
kind.
Isles. Go ahead.
That was in chat. I would actually spam a heart right now. Let's see if chat is so kind as well. So, yeah, man, we're going to Northern Isles, Grubby. In my personal opinion, one can say about the graphics of Reforged what they want. There's a lot of different opinions, but I personally think that this map looks the prettiest out of all the maps in the new graphics. The icy theme seems to be pretty good.
Yeah, I like the conversion of this one more as well than maybe like the green one.
Yes.
Like, you kind of expect grass to look different. I like it here. I agree with you. It's quite clear as well. Fog of War is still a little bit foggy when you look at it. Could be slightly clearer so you can see the layout. But the minimap is very clear about the architecture.
Yeah. I never actually paid attention to what the Fog of War looks like, but I guess if you're playing on a higher level, then that definitely matters. It's definitely a big thing.
Yeah, it could be a little lighter, but they have made a commitment to work on it in the coming days, weeks, months, years. And if they hold true to that, many improvements are sure to be coming. Whether you like it now, how it looks or not, most likely many improvements will be coming. The feedback is there.
Yeah.
The game has many passionate fans. And
True.
they are sure to, besides just being a little vocal about some things, also to supplement useful and manageable feedback.
Yeah, that's one thing, you mentioned passionate fans, and I definitely consider myself one of them. And the thing is, even when there's loud voices currently, and the game is not perfect, like it should be, that's another sign of passion, as long as you don't overdo it, and you run in the streets with your butt naked and you curse everyone around you, it's all good. So it's another sign, another form of passion, I would say.
I think it's a sign always that passion is double-edged. You can use it for good and it can use you. The key of passion is not just to have it, but to channel it in the most positive way for yourself and for those around you. You see that for professional sportsmen as well, professional gamers. Passion is both a blessing and it can be a curse because you will live an imbalanced life in a way when you are a pro. But it's so worth it because you can get so much enjoyment and satisfaction and lessons out of it. So yeah, passion is something you manage.
I could certainly need a couple of buffs in my real life, you know. Nerf bills.
Nerf, Nerf, sure.
Nerf
You're not
those.
passionate about bills?
I can sometimes, you know. In Germany, the state, they takes it. They take it, man. They take it from the living and the dead.
Yeah, but they build roads with it. You can so you can drive on them. Meantime, Blade Master is creeping to level 2. Keeper already has that. And where will he go this time? Please, last time took a high level creep
Yeah.
from the gold mine, and it looks like he's going to do just that again. But look at this. Is Hitman a learning player?
Wow.
He sends his peon here. Did he realize what happened last game? And he wants to know if that's going to happen again. And the funny thing is, he's not even going there. He knows that his peon presence will dissuade the keeper from taking the creep. And he's actually meeting where the keeper is going to be. This is pretty high level. Normally you see something's about to happen, you go there and you stop it. But that's very nicely done by Hitman.
Yeah, so sick. And Grubby, what is it that we praise time after time? Again, on the fight night, it's Hitman's map awareness. You know, the way he anticipates his opponent's moves. It seems like almost he plays, you know, with a map hack sometimes. Of course, he doesn't. But it almost seems like it sometimes, you know? He's so good when it comes to anticipating where his opponents are. The adaptability as well, like you said, with a peon running around where please could maybe try another one of those cheeky kills, you know, those cheeky steals. So well done from Hitman. Just perfect adaptation. And people who adapt very well, they're likely to succeed.
In best of fives.
Especially
in the
best
long
of
run.
fives.
Yeah, 100% Kendric. So it comes from a lot of experience and then having your eyes open as the series unfolds, picking up on trends and realizing by now, just as I warned in front before the series began, that Please is a methodical player. Not only has he played the same style 4 times in a row, but he's also repeating certain creeping tricks. Hitman picked up on that.
Yeah, really, really true. I think both of them really are, you know. I wouldn't consider Hitman like a crazy player either, but he just has what it takes to really, you know, just switch up his playstyle. We saw earlier, it's just minor differences, but they can make such a big difference, right? You just go in there, you go without a barracks, you go with later grunts, you start earlier with grunts. It's a completely different approach to how you play the game, and Hitman has shown 2 different patterns, you know. We've seen the aggressive playstyle, we've seen the defensive playstyle, and now once again, he just follows Please around the map and just continues to be the thorn in the keeper's side, trying to go after units as well. Has no reveals, sadly, this time. But now we see the Alchemist once again. No deviation really in the second heroes either, Grubby, right?
Yeah, correct. Similar style from both players here. Acid Bomb pops down on the Blade. And why did Blade choose to take so much damage despite having Acid Bomb on him? He wants to make sure he doesn't lose sight of where the Nightelf is. Turn your back for a second. Nightelf goes a direction. You're not sure where. You need to make a gamble. Now, is this going to be a steal?
Easy.
Yes, he gets the steal. The Book of the Dead will go towards Please, but that's a huge chunk of experience going towards the Blade Master, who's now 2.4, keeping the Keeper and the Alchemist at low level. What a fantastic steal here by Hitman. Great job. That's why you need to know where the Nightelf is. Please, though, has to continue creeping undisturbed.
Yeah. He now knows, of course, that the Blade Master is too low in health to continue his feisty harass. There's no real interest anymore here anyways in stealing a measly level 4, level 2 creep. So he's happy, Hitman that is, you know, he got a big chunk of XP. His Blade Master's healing. He cancels the upcoming expansion once more very nicely. But now, of course, this Book of the Dead, man, against orc players in particular, especially when they don't have Spirit Walkers in their army composition, can be quite annoying to get rid of, to say the least, because shamans can only dispel 1 unit at a time. Their mana gets drained very fast. So let's see when he's going to use it, or maybe if he's going to sell it.
He's not. None of the above. He's going to use it to buffer his creeping of a spot that is unusually fast. He's going to summon that Book of the Dead, I'm pretty sure. Is he really just going to save it? Ah, there we go. Book of the Dead. You need it. You need to tank that Magnetar Reaver.
Nice.
With it, the bonus damage. This is so cool. He doesn't have a dust. He couldn't stop the Blade if he were here. But it would be unlikely in the extreme, because this is what is classified an unpermitted early creeping of it. Only possible because of the book. Great job, but please.
Wow, and he finds one of the best items too. Warsong Battle Drums. That is the Kodo Aura. Damage increased on all units in its vicinity. Fantastic play here, and he goes for the cheeky ninja expansion right after. Like you said, Grubby, this is not a camp that is expected for Hitman. You know, he doesn't expect his opponent to take that. Maybe if he's 2000 IQ, he sees the Book of the Dead, he remembers it and doesn't see it in the inventory anymore in future encounters, you know, and then he's like, he sold it, or maybe he used it to creep something, so I'm gonna check the top left location.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the war drums is there, so he should know from that level item. What would have been really sick is if he saw the Book of the Dead, that he would realize that police might try a creep out like this. Watch this vault and he will, you know? It's like, oh, next time police or any Night Elf gets the Book of the Dead, I gotta check that camp. If, of course, creepjacking is his priority. It hasn't been. He's just been using his Blade Shadow to creep together. Because they were both level 1, you can creep together and reach 3-3 at the same time. It's only when Blade is high already that you need to section it away to let your Shadow Hunter keep up. Shadow 3 is the priority rush, and he's got it.
And now we see, of course, Please immediately disengaging. Now, do you think, Grubby, this could be a reason for Please to play particularly passively for a while, so Hitman doesn't immediately scout his inventory? Or do you think it's just something you don't need to consider at all?
To hide it?
Yeah, to hide that he's used the Book of Dead.
Oh, okay, I see.
So he's running away on purpose, you know, doesn't want to get the heroes inside, so Hitman can't check.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, the skeletons are showing up in the most obvious manner. Whereas those 2-3 skellies, he could have just left them in a corner, right? I guess it's just for safety if you meet someone. And he did meet someone, despite not wanting to fight, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your idea. If you have 2-3 skellies left, nearly timed out, just leave him in a corner.
All right, guys. So we see Please now trying to keep the opponent a little bit occupied. You know, his expansion is almost there. And unlike in the previous game, oh, this is a dangerous catch, though. We see these purges coming through all the time. He could shuffle the TP. We have no Hex on the Shadowhunter, so this move could not be prevented. But yeah, crit after
he has
crit
TP now.
Coming through. TP is now on the Alchemist, so he pieces out. Just needs to buy a little bit of more time. He's probably going to still lose a Huntress, though, so not all was in vain for Hitman. And only now is this expansion finally going to work, but Hitman has no idea about it.
Well, that was pretty suspicious movement. He's checked the natural expansion of the Night Elf and found nothing. There was the Book of the Dead clue.
Yeah.
There's the War Drums. There's the evasive action, the running away. 2 Huntresses were lost and a TP was used. And not a single attempt to fight back. If you're on one base all in style, you will take a fight when you get it. But Night Elf was running away. There can only be one logical explanation. But does Hitman have the presence of mind to realize it? And in the meantime, a surround and entangle on the Shadowhunter. He's got no way to save himself. Double greater mana potion, Kendric.
It is so huge.
About dying.
There was no invul, there was no TP, there was nothing that Hitman could use to save this Shadowhunter. The surround with the Huntresses was real. The healing spray is trickling through. The shower is needed to keep the Keeper safe. And all of a sudden, we have something that we normally don't say. Cloak of Shadows, MVP item, really. Buying so much time, creating so much diversion. Now the invul is being used. Hitman is furious. He's mad. He wants to get his hero kill. He wants to avenge the death of his Shadowhunter. And all of a sudden, Grubby, this Night Elf and distraction maneuver paid off so well. Probably better than Please would have ever dreamed of.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, but his continuous base trade-like maneuvering and the immediate focus fire of an insurmountably strong Shadowhunter. That was really the right play here. That noob hero focus, as sometimes people say, the easiest thing to do. But it occasionally is the right thing to do. It's only bad when an opponent has invulnerability and TP. The Shadowhunter had none of those protections. That was a double greater mana pot Shadowhunter.
Wow.
It's gonna wreck Huntresses like nothing. And the thing is, when it comes back, it'll be equally threatening. Despite everything that happened, Please is not out of the woods yet.
Ooh. A little bit of a face-off here at the shop. Of course, Please didn't know that the Blade Master was there, and he intuitively bought the Potion of Invul and the Scroll of Healing first, so the Blade Master couldn't steal it away. He had a full inventory anyways, so he could have not really gotten a whole lot of value out of the situation right now. A reveal comes through, the Blade Master in peril, in jeopardy. And man, I can't believe, Grubby, how many grunts Hitman lost there as well. You know, even the Murlocs help with a cheeky creep and snare. So his forces are decimated right now, and Please knows exactly that. He's now trying to maybe go after the Altar of Storms, but the Shadowhunter should make it through. Even all these Huntresses, even though they're upgraded 2-1, they won't have enough punch to actually go through in time. No, the scrolls are being popped up, protection and healing.
The timing was a little bit off. A lot of lightning shielded grunts here. They're going to eventually kill these Huntresses, but he TP's out on time, saving almost all of them. There's just that one really unlucky Huntress that was asked to stand in the Burrow's line of fire. That was late to stop the Shadowhunter from appearing. But overall, you know, anytime you're skirmishing, when you've got Moonwells to fall back towards and the bonus expansion, that seems to be an okay thing to have happen. Now, if you lose a Huntress every now and then, though, whatever advantage you have from your expansion can be mitigated away. Please is at 53 food now. He used the heal scroll, a TP, and lost some units. He was at 53 food 2 minutes ago. And he's still at 53 food. Because he's buying items, he's losing things, he's spending things. So as much as he's got this advantage, he hasn't turned it into a stranglehold, Kendric.
Very true. Of course, he does have a lot of time right now because Hitman has been weakened several times. His Huntresses are 2-2 right now in terms of upgrades. They're looking stronger. But if you give Hitman enough time to have that critical mass, you know, of Shamans, of Grunts, and you give the hero levels, most importantly, to the Orc, you know, let's say level 4 on the Shadowhunter, which means level 2 healing wave. All these factors can really allow a comeback for Orc players. They're so good at doing that. And I think Please knows that, and now he's going for one of the dirtiest things you can do as a Night Elf. You just go Huntress lane, you know, you have a TP ready and you just trade over and over. Trade, buy a new TP, kill a couple of buildings, and because of your 2-base play, you're gonna get the better end of those trades.
And those Moonglaves, they make it really difficult to repair buildings to get attacked. You've got that double bounce, kind of like Mutalis from StarCraft 1 Brood War. And although nothing was killed, some Huntresses took damage. This is a big statement here by Please. He's finally climbed to 59 food. He's brought Wisps. Big acid bomb coming out there. But he's got to get out of that Burrow line of fire. There's a lot of damage on his Huntresses. One Huntress goes down. A second one nearly goes down. This is a good stalwart defense here by Hitman.
I would say so too, Grubby. This is looking good. Only now are the Wisps coming through to maybe deplete the mana on the heroes and these Shamans a little bit. The Huntresses are still holding the front line, but overall, these Serpents, man, they're no joke. They're not to be drank tea with too funnily, you know. It slaps over the TP to the Alchemist. Very good last-second save. Now goes for a Shadowman, but that Lightning Shield actually tickling down another unit. Hitman really with those split-second decisions and holding once more, and this is exactly what I was talking about, Grubby, right? You give Hitman a couple of those fights, and he is bouncing back.
Yep, and his expansion just finished. It's fortified with towers. Hitman is at a very clean 50 food, which means 100% of the income that he's getting from any source is going into his bank. Now, Please, he momentarily climbed to 59, but he's now back. He's now is 59 again, but he's lingered between 52 to 59 for the better part of the game. And that means he's losing 30% of all income he's been gaining. So even though he's had double income, it's really only 40% more. 140% versus 100%. And that 40%, that means if you lose a Huntress once per minute, has almost been mitigated away. So what are you left with? Heroes level 3 against Hitman, Heroes level 4. And a slightly higher tech army. So it's really looking good for Hitman right now.
Yeah, plays a dangerous game in the middle of the map once again, though. His Shaman's a little bit exposed too right now. He doesn't want to be caught with his pants down now when the victory is so close to him right now. Of course, we have the Shadowhunter now in a very similar situation. The surround goes through yet again, and the focus fire with that Alchemist, of course, could be so much damage. Shadowhunter getting healed once, getting healed twice. It's not enough. Double level up for Please. The Night Elves are marching through. Did Hitman once again underestimate how important it is to keep your heroes safe?
It's about that Shadowhunter positioning. Please has been ruthlessly punishing his positioning on the Shadowhunter, and it just goes down once again. Potion of Invulnerability was purchased by Please. Hitman did not prioritize it or could not get it. Whatever reason, the Shadowhunter goes down again. And that altar only has 300 health. If Please buys a TP and he goes for it, he could stop the Shadowhunter from coming out in a cheap way.
Oh yeah, he could buy a TP here at the Goblin Merchant Shop. You know, maybe even a healing scroll of healing, you know, if he wants to keep those Huntresses safe. Does go for a Scroll of Protection, which is also certainly very nice. But does he remember how much damage he had inflicted onto the Altar of Storms? Of course, he will probably remember, but he also expects Hitman to potentially have repaired it. So it's a little bit of a risk that he takes in. And he now knows, of course, that Hitman is on 2 bases. These towers, though, that positioning, the SimCity is so lethal for Please. I'm not sure if he should fight into this.
I think he just wants to take an opportunity to fight, whether it's a win or a loss, before Shadowhunter comes out. No matter what, Shadowhunter will not level up from this. So if he takes a mediocre fight, he's going to get experience on both of his heroes, and mediocre it is, or worse. He's lost a lot of huntresses really fast into the meat grinder here. Imagine going into a Pharaoh's booby-trapped pyramid, and this is a little bit what it would feel like here. Pharaoh Hitman is waiting for him there with those towers, with the support of the shop, the Dispel, the Lightning Shield. Now those shamans, they're pretty low mana, a lot of grunts got hurt, but crucially they're still alive. And the Shadowhunter is 90% of the way back. That was a catastrophic fight for Please, not the one he wanted. And that was tough. That was hard to watch.
Yeah, Indiana, please, man. He needs to be more careful where he walks because this part of the map is full of traps. There's towers nearby. There's a level 5 Blade Master right now looming in the shadows. So what can he do? He's now trying to go into the Orc base, sees that Altar of the Storm, and he's going to hate himself for not going there earlier. I think he could have probably sniped that with great ease, and that would have delayed the revival of the Shadowhunter even more. So what is left for him to do? Maybe he can snipe the barracks, but the more time he wastes, the more snakes can be deployed, and the harder it's going to be for the Nightelf player to storm this Orc base.
Blade Master with critical strike level 3 could nearly one-shot archers. It's not hitting anything. There we go, 164. Nice lightning shields on his grunts as well.
Oh, those are huge lightning shields. That's a lot of damage. At least there is a healing spray, but that is a very lethal situation, or can be at least. Still not done, actually. Has to detonate a wisp, but this one archer might kill her sister, and down she goes.
Will she kill another? You know, that experience goes to Hitman. If he was looking at it, he will have a bit of a giggle now.
Definitely true, man. But Grubby, how scary does this level 5 Blade Master look right now? Especially with the lightning shield, you know, so much AoE damage going on those squishy ladies in the back. But he needs those archers, right? Because he realizes, I think pleases, that hunts only at this point against the snakes, soon to be level 3 snakes even, it just won't cut it. He needs something else. He needs more DPS. More dots.
Yeah, he needs more dots, way more dots. Need to hit him very hard, but I'm not sure that these archers feel like that for the Blade Master, who is just absorbing these attacks without caring the world. There's level 2 snakes here being put down, one after another. Mana potion still available on the Shadowhunter. We have a Hitman with 60 food pushing in against 40 food, please. He had a great start. He got a lot of Blade Master kills, but he's up against it, up against the ropes, and we expect to see him tap at any time here, submitting defeat to the reigning champion here. Please, unable to bring the pain train to the right degree in order to be able to at least equalize it to a 2-2 score. Archers falling beyond the might of the grunts.
Yeah, he's trying so hard, please, to hold the line some way, somehow, but Hitman, like a pit bull, is not letting go, you know, trying to stick to the Nightelf like glue, catching unit after unit. Both heroes now protected, both heroes trying to strike back, but man, when there's a level 5.5 Blade Master, soon to be level 6 actually, way more experience, double level up on the Keeper, executed with great impunity. Blade Storm for the great measure. We unfortunately don't get to see its full beauty anymore, but the game is over, the series is over, the fight night is over as well, Grubby. Please, he fought like a lion, but it was not enough, man. Hitman, he found his rhythm, he found his stride, and man, did he look good in the last two games.
Yeah, Hitman takes it with 3-1. Congratulations to another repeat performance here, another victory, another $200, and another chance to shine next time on the fight night in 2 weeks from now. And with this, Hitman also crowns himself our first Fight Night Reforged champion.
Definitely true, man. That's one for the history books, you know. You definitely have something to claim and to show. I think we might have been the third tournament or the third esports tournament in general. We had the Back to Warcraft Invitational, then we had the Readmore Cup, I think, that was actually played today just a couple of hours before. Yep. So yeah, third tournament in Reforged and the very first Fight Night champion.
There was one other Reforged invitational from CIS region.
That might be true.
Russia, Ukraine. I didn't manage to catch it because I didn't know about it on time. But I think that one was like when there was still the beta, or maybe like day one of the release of the game. Like, yeah, it was really, really early. But yeah, one of the first competitions, definitely our first. Really nice to cast this Reforged show match for you guys with my man Kendric Swish here. And Kendric, do you know if we have an interview opportunity with Hitman as well this time? I know he snubs you sometimes because he's a busy man.
Dude, he is like an exotic rainbow. You got to chase the rainbow to find Hitman sometimes. I think he's like a leprechaun, It's so hard to find him, but when you find him, it's always a treasure because he gives you the dankest of answers. So, yeah, he's ready, man. We can put him on the call.
All right, let's do this.
Let's do this, guys. So we're going to add Hitman like always. Gonna take a while. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, he's very good. He's paying good attention in the series, itself. He's a good boy in that. You may have to reactivate your video, by the way, on Discord.
Hey, yo, what's up, dude? Congrats.
Can you reactivate your video real quick, Grubby?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Yo, Hitman, can you hear us?
Yep.
How's it going, man? How does it feel to be a back-to-back-to-back champion on Fight Night?
Pretty good. Although I have to say, I don't think I played that well. I'm still getting used to Reforged. So there were a lot of weird errors that I made, losing heroes left and right. But in the end, I still pulled out the victory, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, talk through the first game, maybe. What went wrong? We actually had our doubts. Maybe it was not your day, or maybe Please was just playing out of his mind. You lost that game, but you played really well after. So what was going on in that first game?
Yeah, so I just made a big mistake trying to kill the ogre with a level 1 blade. I didn't have enough items to solo it, especially because it was nighttime. So I couldn't do the Bloodlust trick where I hit it out of Windwalk and have it not cast Bloodlust. So that was just a stupid mistake by me. But after that, I went for the Merc Camp creep. And I knew he was going to jack me, but I kind of just wanted to do it anyways because I figured I could speed scroll and get away. But I feel like when I was trying to click my units back into my base, all of them were getting stuck. So I don't know if that's some Reforged thing or if that's just Warcraft being weird. But I just lost all my units outside my base, and it was pretty much over from there. But
it also took pretty long to creep it because I think you got like quintuple bashed or something by the 2 little kobolds on your Blade Master.
Yeah, it wasn't safe to begin with, anyways, because he was just gonna come in for the jack. But yeah, it turned sour pretty quick.
And then in game 2, you lost your Blade Master early again.
It was game 2. Oh yeah, that was a bit of a mistake from me also. But like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to see exactly how much hit points you have with the new health bars.
Yeah,
I don't know. I maybe I'm just making excuses, but
you know that you can change to normal green health bars, right?
Yeah, I know. But like, still, some of the graphics are a little different, so it just takes a bit of getting used to.
Good. Yeah. So I want to ask you something about that last game on Northern Isles. It was very close, back and forth. Both players had their strong moments for sure. Did you know about this expansion in the top left that he built very sneakily, actually? And when did you get to know about it?
Right? Like he hit my base after he crept it, so that's when he started building it. If I'm correct,
he made it much earlier than that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did he?
Remember the Troll 6 Warlord you stole? He took the item. It was Book of the Dead. Did you know that?
Yeah.
So he used that to creep it. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
And threw it down immediately. He's actually been working with an expansion almost the whole game, but unfortunately had been languishing between 53 and 56 food because of the repeated Huntress losses that you caused him.
Yeah, his army seemed really small, so I figured he didn't have an expansion, but I guess...
Upkeep management issue. And, he got all of his items at 53 food. So, you got a Huntress here, got a Huntress there, the TP. He stayed in the game because of his Shadowhunter focus firing, and that can happen to you. Must have felt bad.
Yeah, I was like, I have this game in the palm of my hand. I just can't lose heroes. And then I lost my hero again.
Just don't. So, Hitman, bold statements we know you for. How about making one about how many more fight nights you are going to win?
Ooh.
0. I'm gonna be playing a human next, so I don't have very high hopes.
So you're gonna withdraw the bounty that no player has done before, and you're going to bravely run in the opposite direction.
No, I'm not gonna take the bounty. I'm gonna play. There's no way I'm backing down like that. I'm not gonna be the first person to pussy out. So I'll play for sure, but I don't think it's gonna go very well for me.
What is it that makes you struggle against humans so much these days?
Mountain King's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of human strategies that are all really strong. You can play casters, you can play rifles, you can play breakers and rifles. I don't know, fast expand. There's a lot of things that work. So yeah, I just find it very hard to micro perfectly against human. Like the fights are all really scrappy, and I feel like it's a bit harder for orc to micro than human. So I think it's just hard in general. And part of it's the matchup, part of it is just me. I'm not very good at the matchup to begin with. So putting those two things together makes me not have a very high win rate.
Okay, boldly stating your humility towards human this time, 0. Well, we'll see if we can find a human and make you happy. But otherwise, we're happy to let you continue your streak of destruction. You've done a great job, and you're becoming a fight night mainstay. Congratulations, Hitman, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, thank you. Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yo, thank you for playing Hitman. So, yeah, guys, man, that is going to be our first Reforged fight night. It was a blast. I really enjoyed the new vibe to it, the freshness to it. And although not all things are perfect by any means, I think I'm looking forward to the next one already, Grubby. We had a spicy series, we had a strong challenger, a pleasantly, surprisingly strong challenger, I think. And who knows, maybe in 2 weeks' time we can finally deliver the promised human opponent for Hitman.
Yeah, let's see who the Russians will send next against Hitman.
All right, yeah, guys. So if you have a favorite player, once again, feel free to get in contact with us, to let us know. You can tweet at Grubby, you can tweet at Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3, or at myself. You have a special player that you think might be strong enough to best Hitman and to send him home. But yeah, guys, 2 weeks from now, we're going to be back with another fight night. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for supporting the scene. Thank you very much for watching our channel. If you came in too late, if you didn't catch all the games, there's always the YouTube channel, Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3. You can just look that up and catch up, because the VOD is going to go live right after this broadcast. So, guys, we're going to dismiss you. The final words go to Grubby, and then we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this kickstart to your weekend with our Heroes Hearth Fight Night show match. Hitman was the victor, and you're all the victor if you enjoyed yourself. We'll see you in 2 weeks from now with the next Fight Night. Thanks for watching, and have a great weekend.